There's this one which is, you've got a cow in the ditch, what do you do? And it's like, get the cow out of the ditch. Why was the cow in the ditch? You know, how do we keep the cow from getting in a ditch again? Nobody likes a cow in the ditch. I think a challenge that a lot of companies face when they have success is staying humble, right? As soon as you think you're great, that's when things can get really messed up. No matter how far down the road you are, you're always the same distance from the ditch. You know, and I think if you keep that sort of thought process in mind, I mean, it helps you to stay humble, right? So you might have started with nothing, you might have gotten to some place, and you might have taken that really far down there. But I think that one of the things that people around here really understand is you've got to be humble. You've got to understand that as soon as you get an ego involved in something, you can really poison a culture, you can really get off your mission, and you can really start to make mistakes. Failure is a very accepted thing here, right? It's about validating ideas, it's about trying new things, but if it doesn't work, that's fine, right? We're gonna move on to something else. You don't blame people for ideas. They have to be well thought out ideas, they have to be reasoned ideas, but it's definitely okay to make mistakes. SnackMagic is really a humble place. You're not judged based on where you went to school or where you worked before. You're just judged on your ideas and your execution and your contribution, right? You make the people around you better. It's probably the most underappreciated asset that you can have in a team of people.
Probably the two that stand out to me the most, be a problem solver. The whole foundation of the company is solving a problem that maybe people didn't even know existed. You know, the idea of working from home was completely foreign. So being a problem solver is definitely ingrained in the culture that way. I also like that idea of, anytime something comes up, it's always finding a creative solution. It's not just a yes or no answer all of the time. It's here's option A, B, or C, and then what's the best way? And knowing that maybe you don't know what the best way is, but sort of taking that risk and going for it. And that sort of plays into the being open to change, to embrace change and just be willing to, roll with the punches, take all feedback, all input, and, sometimes out of that you grow into something even better than, something you never thought of before.
I think what I really like is welcome change. Welcome change to me makes me realize there's a lot of failure in learning. And what SnackMagic is okay with is failing fast. People are just testing new ideas and just failing fast, but moving forward. So that's why I really resonate with welcome change. So when I work, I definitely don't think oh, is this gonna fail? Is my copy not good enough? It's get your copy down and send it in and get Jazz to either okay it or fix it. Don't waste too much time, an extra 30 minutes overthinking things, because no one's gonna judge you. You're here to learn, and getting feedback is the best way to learn.
Welcome change would be the biggest one. I think it's very important, with a company that's growing so fast, to always welcome change and adapt to everything and modify if need be. But also a little bit of trial and error, try something out. If it doesn't work, that's okay.
We're constantly changing with the demands of our customer base and the needs. And we're consciously listening to what everybody wants. People want swag, so we developed this entire platform to enable a swag locker. So every time there's a demand or a request by somebody, we legitimately take into account, and then we change our model. I know my sales pitch back in July is different now than it was 3 months ago, because we're constantly changing, having to include and bring up to different things.
I think the values that I resonate with the most are being open to change. That's really helped lead to a lot of my growth here at SnackMagic. Especially when our backs were up against the wall during the pandemic and we had to figure out what to do. It was very easy for us to kind of be in a very singular mindset and think, yeah, we'll just wait it out, stick to what we know. We were open to change, we were open to new ideas, and kind of took the good of our previous business and applied it to a new model of thinking.
I think that welcome change is probably the one that is hardest for me, but most relevant.
We move so fast, things are changing every day, but it's usually for a good reason, and it all means that you're moving forward. Just kind of giving anything a chance is very much part of the culture. Definitely took getting used to, but I think it's why we're able to move so fast and be so innovative. That sort of dynamic nature of SnackMagic comes from part of that.
Team first. There's so many great people on this team with a lot of backgrounds, and you can really learn a lot from one another. And it's just so collaborative, and everyone's really supportive. No question is a silly question. You can always go to somebody and they will support you and guide you, and I think that's really special. And I also, really relate to staying confident and humble. We all make mistakes. I've made mistakes, and we learn from that. And I think that's just important. And like nobody's perfect. And when you do make a mistake, you're not scolded for that. Like it's a learning experience for you, but also for everybody.
Welcome change is, I think, the most interesting. It's something that I apply also in my personal life. It doesn't always come easily to me either, but I've learned a lot through the process of even like pivoting straight into SnackMagic or working with different people. That is something that I hold very close to my heart.
The cow in the ditch one. I think that's such a smart way to think, and I love it. We all make mistakes, but it's how can we analyze that mistake and make sure that that cow doesn't go into the ditch again? What can we do? What types of things can we put into place that are like part of our process and part of our system where it's a no-brainer and we don't have to go back and re-examine that mistake again. Like we already know it's part of our system and we don't have to bother with it again. So I think I really like that one. I mean, the humble one, I really look for that in candidates that I hire because it's just so important to be humble and be willing to learn and accept feedback, regardless of your experience or where you came from. It's just such an important personality and skill that I really value.
I think problem solving, since we've started, this is in 2014, so many things have happened. And how we think about solving problems quickly is, I think, one thing that's one of our strengths. So when a cow is stuck in a ditch, that analogy I think I relate to a lot. Essentially, it's fixing the problem right now, then trying to ask yourself, why did this happen? And then lastly, saying, what can we do right now so that it doesn't happen again? How did the cow get into the ditch? And what can we do so the cow never gets into the ditch again? So that mindset is, I think, with everything we do, that applies.
I think be a problem solver. If the problem is we need to get something shipped to this country, I'm gonna figure it out. It might take me 2-3 hours just to send one thing, but I will do it.
Just be a problem solver. So I've worked on many projects at SnackMagic, and we always try to identify the problems and to solve it, as opposed to having like a ton of meetings just to discuss the problem. Right? Everyone here is a problem solver. We identify problem and execute on that without having a lot of bureaucracy within the company going back and forth. And I really like that velocity of execution, and that have really contributed to our super high growth here at SnackMagic.
Being a problem solver, there's no ego. You're looking out for others. For some of the other companies that I've worked with, it's all about like, if there's a problem, a lot of people are worrying about it and not thinking bigger picture, where I feel like SwagMagic is all things bigger picture, and it's really exciting to be a part of. Being humble, like you have to know that regardless of the ideas that you come to the table with, knowing that like there are other people around you who, are hard workers, think outside the box, problem solvers, and approachable, like it kind of raises all boats. For me, like that's been the best part of the experience, is every single day going in, my teammates are fantastic to work with on the SwagMagic side, and always just nonstop working. And then, if there's anything I ever need from outside of my team, the fact that I could reach out to somebody at like 5 a.m. and like super late at night, it's great that everybody is down to, see this thing become, even more special than it currently is.
I appreciate the no politics one, because like, even as I was saying, my own boss, she is still my boss, but I feel like she doesn't want to take on this persona of like, I'm the boss and you are my subordinates. That kind of cultivates an environment of people being a little more willing or comfortable with sharing new ideas. There's never once been like a moment where somebody seemed like their opinion wasn't valued.
For me, it would be honesty, because people are not afraid to admit when they're wrong. If you've made a mistake, it's not like, oh my word, they're gonna, or an idea, it didn't work out for you, it's fine. You move on. That's something that I find quite cool about the company in general. So humble, that's what I think is super important. That ties in with the point of listening to each other, respecting each other. Being humble is something, especially in corporate, when you come from corporate companies, it can really get to people's heads.
The one that I resonate the most with is being humble. At every day, we are like, it's our first day. It doesn't matter what we've accomplished, what's happened, but every day is the first day for us, a fresh start, which means that whatever has happened, good or bad, we try and strive for better and growing much more. But at the same time, you got your ego in place, ego at the doorstep. Yes, we leave it there. And there's something that we carry, which is being open, being gentle, and being humble with whosoever you are interacting. It doesn't matter whose job it is. It's about, how you do it. Everyone are superstars. Honestly, everyone who's part of SnackMagic, that's something that really excites me and wants me to actually continue working in such an environment. People are so different, but at the same time, they're so supportive and they're really, really smart people. There's so much to learn from everybody. That's what I strive as a professional, working with smart people, because being in the company of people who want to learn, people who inspire you, makes you grow by itself.
I think the confidently humble, I definitely take pride in my work, but I think it's something to, kind of like keep my head down. Like, I know I'm doing a good job and I know others know that, but it is one of those things that's really important as we're growing and as, we're gonna have different competitors, and something that we just need to keep looking ahead.
So I would definitely say that ownership is an inherent part of the team. No one's work is beneath another person. So kind of just like getting in, getting like ready to get dirty and just doing whatever needs to be done.